Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by 1FC heavyweight champion Brandon Vera. Brandon, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. 1FC heavyweight champion. How good does that sound?
It's weird, man. I'm still getting used to people calling me champ.
Has it sunk in yet? Because I know after the fight you were saying it was all a dream. You were saying you can't believe that it happened. Has it sunk in yet as we're a couple weeks removed from the fight?
It's still, kind of, yes, kind of no. I went to the gym and talked to all the boys, and everybody's congratulating me. And, to hear other champs from other organizations call me champ, too. I mean, it felt good. So it's starting to sink in, I think.
I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but I think we have to bring it up a little because it was such a big storyline going into the fight. The fact that you were originally supposed to fight Chai Lewis Perry, but he backed out of the fight at the last minute, and you had a change of opponents, and then obviously you won the title off that. But I think we should touch on the Lewis Perry situation just a little, not go too deep, but just a little. How long did it take you to get over not fighting Chai Lewis Perry? Because obviously you were very angry when that whole situation went down, and obviously you addressed it. There was a video that you released venting your anger about the whole situation. So I'm just curious, how long did it take you to get over not getting to fight Chai Lewis Perry back on December 11th?
It took me a day and a half. After I did that video, I got a lot of it out. And I didn't care about him or try to worry about him anymore because I have a new opponent in my face. And the worst thing you can do in MMA is be thinking about something else, not the person you're fighting. So I needed to get him out of my head quick.
What exactly is the reason why he didn't fight? Is that known?
He's a bitch with no balls. That's why.
You said that in the video.
He's a bitch with no balls. He didn't get on the flight. Man, he was blaming his medicals. And for the record, I even had to do one. There was something on my blood work that was missing. I went to the hospital to get blood drawn the day of weigh-ins, right after I weighed in. For him to say there was medicals and this and that, man, it's just none of anything that he said makes sense except for the fact that he's a bitch with no balls. His wife married a eunuch.
Do you think it was money, or he just didn't want to fight you? Because obviously the medicals, that's an easy excuse to give, but what do you think the real reason was why he didn't want to fight?
I don't know. I don't know if it was money. One never talks to me about anybody else's. We don't talk about anybody else's personal problem.
Sure.
Except for my own, and I love it that way because that's their gig, but I never once heard them say anything about money. Nobody ever alluded to the fact that it might have been money, but when it comes down to it, like, what the hell else could it have been? What else could it have been? He's the one who asked for the fight. He's the one who called me out and talked so much shit and then pulled out at the very last second, I found out the night that he didn't show up on the airplane. Somebody was at the airport to pick him up.
Right.
And I came home from dinner, and then that's when they told me, so I have no idea. I asked him for his home address and his gym address, so I could meet him after the fight. He never replied, yet he's still replying to other fans online.
Right.
So it kind of shows who he is and what he's about.
Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would be in a situation like that where your opponent didn't get on the plane to fly to come fight you? Did you ever think that?
Not at that level. Not when you're in the pro level. Not when people are getting paid and contracts are involved,
Sure.
No, hell no. Sorry to interrupt during your question.
No.
Just talked about that today. Hell no. That's not supposed to happen.
Let's say that it was just a regular opponent. Chai Lewis Perry, he was talking all kinds of trash to you. He was saying all kinds of really crazy stuff. Let's say that it was just a normal opponent. You don't really even know the guy. No talk, none of that kind of stuff. Would you have been as upset if this had happened to you? Because obviously I know a lot of your anger was coming towards, look, this guy talked a lot of crap and he talked a big game and then he didn't get to answer for it. You never got that chance to make him eat his words. Was that the main source of your frustration, or would you have been pissed off regardless if this was just another opponent?
I think I would have been pissed off regardless of who or if this happened against anybody, but there was a little something extra because of his mouth and because of him asking for the fight and calling me out and calling me scared, and then his wife co-signing on his trash talk, and she didn't even have nothing to say after her husband backed out. if you co-signed, you thought you were all this. What happened? Like, that's what bugs me the most.
Do you think the trash talk that he was doing was personal, or do you think he was just trying to sell a fight?
I think he was trying to hype himself up, man, or convince himself that he's going to wipe me all over the debt.
Right.
Back and forth on the debt.
Right.
Shit, whatever he said.
Right.
On the mat, the donut, the chunky donut, I don't know. Whatever the hell he was, whatever shit he was trying to talk.
Right. I saw him at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, and yeah. I mean, some of his stuff was creative, but if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, you got to step into the cage. We didn't get anything. We didn't get to see the fight, and he didn't get paid. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man. I remember when Matt told me, I was like, what the hell? It took a second, man. I mean, you've been training 12 to 16 weeks for this guy specifically, you know? And then he pulls this shit. It's like, come on, man.
Is this a fight you're still interested in, or has that ship sailed?
Nah, man, he's done. He shouldn't be fighting anymore. He showed his true colors. He doesn't deserve to be called a fighter, a professional fighter, MMA fighter. He shouldn't be fighting on any card anymore ever again. Like, if you're thinking about it from a business standpoint, like with one, how much money they lost or used up and just kind of threw away because he didn't get on the damn plane.
Right.
Like, man, that's bad business, bro. Like, there's no way. Because even if I'm scheduled to fight him again, or if anybody's ever scheduled to fight him again, how do they know his ass going to show up again? How do they know he's going to show up on the damn flight? He might not even get on the damn flight, and then you'll find out. He's washed up. It's over. He might as well go try to play basketball again and do something else.
Yeah. It was pretty much career suicide because ONE FC, a massive show, and you do it to them. I mean, I'm sure he'll probably get another opportunity because that's just how the game is. A regional promoter will be like, oh, let's just put him. You know, he got a little bit of press because he was going to fight Brandon Vera. So I guess he'll get another opportunity, but, I mean, it's pretty much career suicide right there.
You're the main event on a championship fight that you've been talking about, and then all of a sudden you pull that, you're done.
Yeah, it's pretty bad there. So anyways, after Lewis Perry falls out of the fight, did you think, I'm not going to fight this fight, or did you think, okay, well, ONE FC, they're a massive show, they're going to offer somebody, and somebody's going to step up? You know, where was your head at when he fell out?
I didn't know what they were going to do. I thought I was scared during them, like, oh, so he's not going to fight. But when he told me, when Mr. Hume told me, it was like, Brandon, I got bad news and good news. Which one first? But like, man, always bad news first. What's going on? And then he told me, he said, Lewis Perry's in here. Good news, he's still going to fight, though. And I was like, what? Okay. What's going on? So then he filled me in. And he told me about Paul Chang, and he said Paul Chang would be number 2 in line anyways. He said, they had some issues with Perry before, so they told Chang, just in case, just in case something happens. Mm-hmm. And, Matt Hume, they call him the wizard for a reason. He's been in the game long enough. If he has a gut feeling about something, then it's usually right.
You got to have a ton of respect for Paul Chang because there's a guy who stepped up on extremely short notice, and he's fighting you, a guy who's fought legends in the sport. You have a ton of experience. You're the hometown guy. Everyone was showing up there to see you win this fight. He stepped into a very, very rough situation. You got to have a ton of respect for that guy, right?
Oh man, I do. The night that I did the video for and about Pari, I even gave a shout out and a thank you to Paul Chang for stepping up to the fight and being a man. Like you said, like that's a bad situation it's a bad situation to try to fight me anyways. Even when you have a full camp and you're just focusing on me, but for you to step in last minute with 2 weeks notice or a week notice or 72 hour or 48 hour notice, like that's a rough deal for anybody. So I thanked him before the fight. I thanked him again after the fight. Even in the locker rooms, I went to the back and talked to him. We had a conversation. So it's Paul Chang's he's a man. Mm-hmm. He's the man.
If the roles were reversed and let's say that you were somebody else and you had to step into that situation and fight Brandon Vera, a guy who, like you said, a lot of experience, it's a very tough fight to get ready for with a full training camp, let alone how many, like 3 days or 2 days, whatever it was, I don't remember the exact amount. If the roles were reversed, would you have taken that fight?
Yeah, I tried to fight Tank with no notice. Tank Abbott was in TJ talking smack. And I was like, well, let's go ahead and make a name off Tank.
Right.
And the opportunity never came through. It never finished through. But, yeah, I've always been game for whatever. I've never said no, and I've always been game at the drop of a hat. So I'm in the fight game. I'm down. I'm always down.
I heard that the night before the fight, or actually the night of when you got the offer to fight Chang, when Lewis Perry fell out, I heard that you and your camp went to sleep with iPads on their chest and on their head because you were watching so much film and stayed up so late trying to figure out what to do against this guy. How much actually did you know about Chang going into the fight?
I knew he was number 2 in one championships. I knew that the last guy he fought retired, and I knew it was TKO by strikes. So then I started watching film on him, and then I knew that his ass is tough as hell. Like, he's not a quitter, man. He can take a beating. He keeps coming forward. He's just a monster that comes forward, and that's all we game plan for, is for somebody who's going to come forward and just be a monster and swing with reckless abandon. Somebody who doesn't care that I'm Brandon Vera. He's going to try to knock me out anyway. So we all fell asleep with iPads on our face that night. I think I hit my face a couple times before I finally fell asleep. You're preparing for one guy for so long, and all of a sudden they shift gears on you maybe 4 or 5 days before the event. I don't remember when they told me. 3 days before the event, it kind of sucked.
Right.
Kind of sucked, but you got to roll with it.
What exactly was the game plan going into the fight? And I know the fight didn't last that long, 26 seconds, the fastest stoppage of your career. I know it didn't last that long, but how well did you execute it?
I executed better than I would have ever anticipated, ever. Like, my coaches asked me to do certain things, and I did. I pressed, but yet kept my distance and just made him uncomfortable. I knew, regardless, I need to make him tired. Like, out the gate, I needed to press the pace just to be in his face. And heavyweight, especially with last-minute replacement, and I know the fact that he can win the fight in the first, second round maybe, if he had enough gas. Like, that's where he would be winning the fight at, with a knockout or with some kind of crazy heavyweight finish, So I stayed busy, and I stayed pressing. That's all I remember, was trying to press. And when I touched him, he hit the deck, and then I followed the head kick. I was going to kick him right on the ground where he was, but as I threw the kick, he started to stand up, so my legs kind of had to track him to hit him in the head and neck. It all happened automagically.
Was this a perfect performance? Or, obviously, like most fighters, there's always something you could have done better, but hey, it was a 26-second finish in the first round. How pleased are you with your performance?
I'm not going to say happy, because like you said, we always have something that we can improve on, but I was definitely excited that I can do things and perform without thinking. I am super happy about. I know what level of training I need to have and how I need to be pushing. You were talking to Dominic Cruz, talking to Phil Davis, talking to, Jeremy Stevens, just all the boys at the gym, and friends who I've been training with for a long time. Just talking to them and trying to understand the mental aspect of this game and how come I always felt like I'm not doing enough. I think I'm getting it now. I am starting to understand what the fight game is really about. You're never doing enough. You never really are, because somebody out there is doing more. And I think I got it this time around.
Many years ago, you famously said that you were going to capture the UFC heavyweight title, then you were going to drop down to 205 and capture the light heavyweight title in the UFC. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. You had a dispute with a manager, then you fought Tim Sylvia, broke your hand, and then that was a controversial stoppage against Fabricio Verdum. A lot of stuff happened to you, but now, does this title, winning the one FC belt or one championship belt, I got to stop doing that. I got to think one championship. But it's so easy for me to say one FC. But anyways, does this fill that void? Obviously you had these high expectations, but now this was the plan. This was always the plan. Go to the Philippines and fight in front of those fans and be on a big stage. And you did that. You won this fight. You're the champion. You performed very well. Does this fill that void of not having those two titles?
I never noticed that there was a void. So I can't say it filled any void, but
sure.
It feels really nice. There was never a void. I've never ever felt a void. In my whole career, the good and the bad. All I can do is take it and giggle, because all of it has been that amazing. It's been really, really good and really, really bad, all at the same time.
So it never bothered you that you didn't get both those titles?
Nah. For the life. You can't do everything you want to do. All you can do is plan and hope and work towards it. If it doesn't happen, it's water under the bridge, spilled milk. Don't need to cry about it. We just got to keep moving forward.
Just one more thing about that. Why do you think it didn't happen? Was that just an unrealistic goal, or did you not train as hard as you should have been? Did you think you were better than you were? Why exactly didn't it happen for you?
Shit, it's going to be like a 7-hour answer. Let's go with politics first.
Okay.
In the MMA game. And then just me ending up not giving a shit.
Okay.
Like, I've always been game to fight, always been game to train, always been game to do everything. But once you kind of don't give a damn anymore, and it's kind of hard.
Just curious, because I've heard that the 1FC championship belt is 26 pounds. Does that sound about right?
I said 30, but maybe it is.
So it is very heavy. That's
it's
interesting.
Heavy, bro. Yeah, it's super heavy.
How did you celebrate the win?
We all went at 8. Then we went to the club, and then we all went to sleep. We didn't stay out very long at all. Then after that, we went to the province. I went to the province to go hang out. That's, I guess, how you could say we celebrated.
Now, I'm sure you didn't suffer any damage in the fight. It only lasted 26 seconds, and there wasn't a lot of contact he made on you. But obviously, we all know that a lot of the damage that you suffer in a fight comes from the training that you do before the fight even happens. So, did you suffer any damage through this whole process?
There's little injuries here and there, but no big damage, no big or major injuries, not at all.
You said before the fight that this was the best camp of your life. You gave that generic answer that all those fighters say, this is the best I'm feeling. But you really did look good. I saw some training footage, and you looked better than ever. You were on a different level, and obviously you performed very well. How was the training camp going into this fight?
It super sounds cliche, but it was honestly the best training camp that I ever had. Injury-wise and training-wise and rehab-wise. I've never been a big fan or paid attention to having to rehab, but this camp, I'd say half of my training was rehabbing. Getting to the doctors, getting to the PTs, getting to my cryotherapy sessions and appointments, and man, it makes all the difference. I used to just beat myself up and then come home and just hang out,
Right.
That was rehab. Now I'm actively rehabbing. I'm going to the ice baths. I'm going to the hot tub. I'm getting my massages. I'm getting stretches. I'm getting pulled. I'm getting knots worked out, PT worked on. So I figured it out. It's half of it. I have to get it done.
What are you doing right now? Are you back in the gym training and preparing for your next fight, whenever and wherever it might be? Or are you taking some time off to spend some time with your family and enjoy the holidays? What are you doing right now?
Relaxing right now. Celebrating the holidays. My parents just left yesterday. My nieces and nephews left the day before. So we've been just doing family stuff all Christmas. And it's been nice. We planned this out for the last 3 years. So to have everybody over was really, really cool, man. And do Christmas over this way.
Brandon, we'll end on this. It's a segment I like to call Really Random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made just for you, and some of these questions are generic ones that I ask all the people I interview. So here's the first question. Superpower you'd love to have?
The Incredible Hulks.
Favorite movie?
Forrest Gump.
Movie you've seen the most times?
Forrest Gump.
Favorite color?
Blue and yellow.
Favorite guilty pleasure?
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Who's next for you in 1FC? Obviously, Chai Lewis Perry, he was supposed to be your opponent, and Paul Chang, who you ended up fighting, he was probably going to get the winner between you and Lewis Perry. Now that Lewis Perry, his whereabouts are unknown, and you just beat Paul Chang, who's next? Has 1FC thrown around any names?
No, they have not. They just told me, congratulations, enjoy yourself, champ, enjoy the time. And a lot of people and things have been happening in the Philippines, so just being busy with that kind of stuff.
When would you like to fight again?
As soon as April, and then again at least twice this year.
You were out for over a year. Your fight before this one was on December 5th, 2014, and then the Chang fight was on December 11th, 2015. Why exactly were you out a year? Did you have injuries, or was it a situation where they wanted you to fight for the heavyweight title, but they needed to build up a contender, and that's what took so long? Why exactly were you out a year?
One just asked me to wait and called them when I was ready to fight, and all of it kind of happened at the same time. I just was dealing with life stuff.
So far, in your 2 fights, 4-1, you've only fought in the Philippines. Going forward, is that still the plan, to only have you fight in the Philippines, or are they hoping that you can venture out to different parts of Asia?
I asked them if that was part of the gig, and they were like, no, I'm pretty sure the rest of the world wants to see you now, so the Philippines isn't going to like it, but you're probably going to have to fight somewhere else next time.
Sure. What country in Asia are you looking forward to the most fighting in?
All of them. Oh, man. All of them.
How much longer do you want to fight? When you signed with ONE FC, you said you wanted to fight till you're 40, but you're looking better than ever. You're like a fine wine. You're only getting better with age. So how much longer do you want to keep doing this?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what else I would be doing other than this for right now. So I will say 40 is an easy number to say. 40 till my birthday. But honestly, I don't know.
How many fights?
I've never felt that good before during a fight, or that confident. So I'm excited.
Go-to song when you're singing in the shower?
I don't have one.
Okay. Celebrity people say you look like?
The Rock.
Favorite food?
Chicken adobo.
Least favorite food?
I don't think I have a least favorite. Shellfish, because I'm allergic.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? Fogo de Chao.
Hobbies outside of fighting?
Anime, hiking, outdoor stuff, survival skill set, man stuff.
Favorite social media platform?
The big 3. Facebook, IG, Twitter.
Website you visit most often?
Website I visit most often. Aside from porn?
It can be porn if you visit that most often.
No, it's usually, what's the website I visit most often, Mama? Yeah. Let's say Facebook, really? Facebook, yeah.
What's your porn star name? If you combined your childhood pet with the street you grew up on, what's your porn star name?
Leslie Parkview.
What's your rapper name? If you combined your favorite cartoon character with your nickname, what would your rapper name be?
Jubei. King Magami.
Jubei the Truth?
Yeah, it would become Jubei the Truth.
You better trademark that. That's a good one. Somebody's going to take that from you. Do you have any pre-fight rituals or superstitions?
I used to, but I don't anymore.
Do you have any post-fight rituals?
Nah, hell no. Just make sure I stop hurting.
What's your New Year's resolution?
I don't have any. Just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess. Keep working hard towards the goal.
Just for my own personal files, who do you like better, Thiago Silva or Chai Lewis Perry?
I like Thiago better. Thiago will at least show up and fight you for sure. Might even shoot you. He would show up.
You made your pro mixed martial arts debut back on July 6th, 2002. So you've been in the game for a while now, almost 14 years to be exact. I'm interested in knowing, why do you continue to fight? What motivates you to fight? Are the reasons you fight now the same reasons that you had when you originally got into fighting? Why do you continue to fight? You've been in the game 14 years. What keeps you motivated to continue to do this?
I don't know what reasons were that I came into the sport, honestly. I fight because I fight still, because I don't know what else I would be doing. I don't want to do anything else. I can't have a boss. I like getting up and going to train. I like seeing if I can make myself throw up today during practice. I like challenging myself. I like seeing if the young new guys are supposed to be really, really good can even come close to me yet. I dig it, man. I don't know what else I would be doing.
What do you consider the best moment of your career to date?
Winning the one heavyweight belt in 26 seconds.
Great moment.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones, a lot of memorable ones, but that one for sure is my favorite, my greatest, I think.
What's the name of the dance you're always doing after you win a fight? I can't really describe it to you over the phone. I'd have to show you what the dance is, but I'm sure you know, and I'm sure the listeners know the dance I'm talking about because you've been doing it forever. So what's the name of that dance you do after you win a fight? What is it called?
I don't know. I know the dance we're talking about, but there's no name for it. I was just doing it because I was happy.
Oh.
All the happy feet.
I thought you were going to bust it out after this fight.
Oh, man, when I
missed it.
I thought I was after this fight as well. I did it the first time I fought one. Mm-hmm. And this one, it just felt so good to make it happen. I just started screaming.
Right, right. How do you like the global rule set?
The global rule set's the best rules that you could ever use for an MMA fight because it makes it a fight, not a sport.
It flows a lot better. You don't have to worry. You don't have to think. You can just go. Love it.
Just fight. Yeah.
Yeah. You said you want to be the Manny Pacquiao of MMA in the Philippines. You're not quite there just yet, but a couple more 26-second stoppages, and I'm sure you'll be on that level. But I'm very interested in knowing just how popular are you right now in the Philippines?
Like, no matter what I tell you, it would sound like the big fish story.
Sure.
The fish that got away. You would think I was lying no matter what I told you.
So you're being mobbed everywhere?
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
I'm not complaining, for sure, but just no matter what I said, you won't believe me.
What's your pet peeve?
Pet peeve. Racist people. Like real racist people, not these sensitive-ass people now who think that because they heard the word nigger, they've been racially profiled or they've been in trouble. I'm talking about racism where people trying to hang you still, and you can't go to this neighborhood because you're not the right color. I'm talking about real racism, not this petty PC shit they got going on in the news and on TV now.
Mm-hmm.
Where people's feelings get hurt because they heard a word.
Now, let's say you found a magic lamp, and you rubbed that magic lamp, and a genie appeared, and the genie said he was going to grant you 3 wishes. What would those 3 wishes be?
Oh, man, no more wars. No more wars. That would be for sure number 1. Number 2 would be, you'd be allowed to slap the shit out of anybody who lied. In front of everybody. Just so, you know. Like, it automatic, like your nose would turn red when you're lying. Somebody was allowed to slap the shit out of you. Number 3 would be probably just, I don't know, I'd probably save the 3rd wish till I really needed it. But 1 would take care of a lot, man. No more wars. I live a violent life, man. I'm all for violence, you know? Like, I'm about whooping somebody's ass, but it's just too much, man.
Time period you'd like to go back and visit, and why?
I'd like to see when, right before Christopher Columbus landed, and tell all the Indians, don't let the white man on. And see how everything would have turned out then.
Person you look up to the most?
The person I look to the most is my dad, my father.
Maybe you don't want to talk about this, but I have to ask because I haven't heard anything about it. I read it on Wikipedia, and you can't trust Wikipedia. If it was a person, like one of your wishes, its nose would turn red and we would have to slap it. You can't really trust everything you read on Wikipedia. But are you no longer married to Carrie?
Nope.
Oh.
That's what I've been dealing with for the past year and a half. We got 3 more court dates, but it's soon to be finished.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, please don't be. You see how life has been going for me since this happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's not be sorry. Let's just roll with it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm over it now. That's a great point you just made. Did you have any kids with Carrie?
Thank God, no children, no.
Oh. Anyways, moving on. I had to know that. I never heard anything about it, so I had to ask that.
No, for sure. Like, unlike everyone else who thinks that social media should be their diary.
Yeah.
I think personal matters should still stay personal.
Yeah. I read that on your Wikipedia page, and I was like, there's no source, there's no nothing. Some madman in their basement could have written this. I don't know. So I had to ask you. Are you seeing anybody now?
Yeah, for sure. My ninja.
Favorite band or solo artist?
Right now it's Adele. Got a beautiful voice.
Sing a little for us.
No, me? No.
Hey, I had to try. Maybe you'd fall for it. What do you worry about? What's something that keeps you up at night?
Not making my family proud enough.
Best advice you ever given through life, and best advice you ever given through fighting, and who gave it to you?
Stop giving a fuck what anyone thinks of you. Anyone and everyone think of you. Fuck them all. Your life will be a lot better when you start thinking like that. And there was a bunch of people that told me that. One of the very first ones was Master Lloyd Irvin.
You're involved in the antitrust lawsuit against the UFC. You probably can't talk a whole lot about it. I know how that court stuff works, but why exactly did you decide to get involved with this?
You know, I've hated bullies since day one. I've always been fighting against bullies. And when I found out Nate Corey was on there and a couple other guys who were on there, I called them all and I was talking to them. And I was like, man, what are you guys thinking? Like, what about this and what about that? And they're like, man, if we don't stand together, you know, there's no way. He said Randy couldn't do it on his own. Tito didn't do it on his own. Couldn't really do it on their own. And just the brotherhood that the ideal is behind, and the ideal that we're pushing for an MMA or association, not union. You don't pay union dues. The association makes that, and this makes sense, man. The biggest thing that we heard about, you know, during our meetings is respect. And for me, is my son or daughter. If they're fighting, I don't want him or her to have to grow up through this sport the way that I did. It doesn't make sense. I don't want anybody to ever talk to my son or daughter the way that certain people with certain organizations have talked to us. Because if it was anybody else except for somebody signing a check, you'd have got your ass whooped a long time ago, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's just for those reasons.
Right.
Those reasons, I guess.
It's obvious you're very happy with your situation fighting for one championship. Would you say the biggest difference between one and the UFC is when one calls you up, they're asking you to do something, and when the UFC calls you up, they're telling you what to do? Would you say that's the biggest difference?
You hit the nail on the head, square on the head, yeah. I don't know if somebody told you that or what, but yeah, that's exactly the difference. That's exactly it. They don't make you feel like you better do this or you might not have a job tomorrow.
So it seems like your motivation for being in this antitrust lawsuit is not for personal gain, it's more of the future fighters and looking out for the guys who are going to be dealing with this eventually. It seems like it's not so much of a personal vendetta and not so much for you to gain something, it's more of, if we band together, we're doing something great for the sport. Is that it?
Exactly, that's exactly it. And man, if some people don't understand it, and you know, fighters were hard-headed anyways, and we're all individuals, because that's why we started fighting. Move now. We're all started fighting for our own specific reasons. So it's hard putting fighters together and be like, hey, we need to do this together. It's just hard. But when we started breaking out the analogies of their son or daughter fighting, and do they want them to have to go through this or that, and, you know, we all have our own stories and our examples of what we've heard, what we've seen, what you know, everything. There's just been stories that we've heard, and things that we've seen, and things that we heard that we couldn't believe was real until somebody confirmed it. And then it's just like, damn, man, like people aren't supposed to be going through shit like that. Not in this fight game.
Right.
Everybody's like, you know, everybody's just thinking, yeah, our sons, daughters, our grandkids shouldn't have to go through this kind of stuff. It's just like any other professional sport, you know. It's like this in the beginning for all of them. Every single one, from the NFL, NHL, to PBA, to NBA, to all of them. All of them started the same way we did. You got to scrape by till players decide to organize, and then the players end up with power. So it'll happen. It'll come slowly but surely. We just keep moving forward. I remember a long time ago, one of my greatest coaches, Rob Kamen, told me that this game, a long time ago, this is maybe even before I was in the UFC, he was like, you have to understand this game is a game of one of the oldest games in the world. I was like, what game are you talking about? Like, what is this? And he was like, man, this is like pimps and hoes. Saying, guess which one you are. And I was laughing about it, you know. I don't remember how young I was, maybe 22, 23 at the time. And I was like, ha, 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 yeah, right, whatever. That's what he told me back then, you know. And I didn't want to listen. I didn't believe him. But as you get older into the sport, or you've seen the sport, you're around the sport, you understand exactly what your role in this game is. And as the MMA Association, MMA FA, we want to change that. It's not a game of pimps and hoes. It's about employers and employees. So then there will be regulations and rules for us to help govern. Even the amateur guys, man. How many amateur shows you've been to where they're charging $50 a head to get in, and none of the amateur guys are getting paid? Where the hell is all that money going? So it's not just for the pros, it's for all fighters. You know, we already bleed and break bones, sweat, and literally, like we said, bleed for our money. So somebody needs to be looking out for us.
One more thing about this, and then we'll move on. Can you pinpoint a time in your career where all this came to light and you saw what was happening? Because I know you said you had that talk and you kind of just laughed it off, the Pimps and Hoes talk. You kind of laughed that off. When did you really start to believe that? And you're like, you know what, I'm seeing this now. What I was told many years ago has come true. You know, when exactly? Can you pinpoint a time when you started seeing it?
My Randy Couture fight when I lost at the O2 Arena. Like, I knew I won that fight. You can tell me such and such doesn't control the judges or the scoring or whatever, but when that fight happened, I was going to be in line for the next title shot. I was going to ask for $1 million signing bonus. I was going to ask for $1.25 per pay-per-view buy. That's what I was asking for, and I told Dana that before the fight happened. So I don't know. That's when I stopped caring. That's when the politics kicked in, and I started seeing what happens and things like that. So I just left it alone. I just stopped caring. That was it, though. For sure, that was it.
Number one thing on your bucket list?
This is going to sound super pretentious, man, but I don't really have anything on my bucket list left to be done. I've lived a good life, but I've done all the stuff that I ever wanted to do, except for climb Mount Everest, and I don't know if I'm ever going to do that. I still need to use my body. Can't have stuff missing.
Favorite TV show, and give me one of each. So it can be a show currently on the air and a show that's no longer on the air. Favorite TV shows.
Favorite show is Bleach, the Japanese animation, and it's still currently on. Main character's name is Kurosaki Ichigo. So, and favorite TV show when I was younger?
Yeah.
I say Three's Company.
Coming on. Good. At least you're singing that.
I'm a fan of One Guy, Two Girls, especially since back then. Oh man, the fact that he lived with two chicks, yeah, huge fan.
Brandon, last question. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change and why?
I would make it okay to make people have to fight, to make you have to back your word with your ass, literally. I'd be okay with that. As long as you're not bullying anybody. And the reason why is because there's too many people nowadays who've never been slapped, never been in a fight, just kind of shoot off at the mouth, and they don't understand what consequence is. They don't have manners. They've never been put in their place. So some people in this world don't have a place, you know. And I know that sounds imperialistic or maybe even kind of a asshole-ish classism style, but there's a lot of people who say a lot of things without thinking or without consequence, and I think it's messing up the world. And I wish people's asses were on the line for what they say. Like before, a handshake and looking at somebody in the eye used to mean something. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Without a contract, without lawyers, without this, without that, without a bond, without an insurance thing. Like, I'm one of the simple type guy, and I wish people's word used to make. I wish people's word meant what it used to.
Right.
I wish you should be able to whip people's ass if they lied or if, you know, they tried to get over on you. If they had a, what's that called when they have if they have another objective besides what they're really trying to do.
Ulterior motive?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Handshake deal. That's a thing of the past. Unfortunate, but it's true.
How fucked up is that, man? Yeah. You know? That's nuts to me.
Yeah. Brandon, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Just want to say thank you to my fans for being there with me since day one. I know it's been a bumpy ride, but for sure it's been one of the best ones ever. Thank you to all my haters. I love you bastards too. Thank you to Bad Boy, to TRX, to Alliance, Training Center, all the boys, all my coaches. Thank you to everyone that has let me stand on their shoulders to get to where I am today. And thank you to my ninja for holding me together like super glue.
Brandon, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I thank you, man. Have a great day.